Just a few kilometers from Odawara, neatly nestled in the foothills of the Hakone mountain range, lies Yumoto. It is a small village of perhaps a few thousand people. But every weekend, its population swells by large numbers of tourists who come here to explore the Hakone region. Most of them don't hang around for long. Instead, most people take the mountain train to Mount Fuji, while a small minority heads towards Hakone the traditional way, following the Old Tokaido. The ascent to Hakone is the longest and most strenuous climb on the entire Tokaido, from sea level in Odawara to nearly 850 meters at the top of the pass. At first it is a relatively gentle slope, meandering through the outskirts of Yumoto, but soon it starts climbing more steeply, and it never really stops doing so until the village of Harajuku, 8 kilometers onward. For much of the way, the Old Tokaido lies under this paved road, but every once in a while, it branches off into the woods for a shortcut, too steep for a bus to negotiate. But I'm enjoying the ride. Once past Yumoto, it is mostly mountains and trees, a welcome change from the scenery of the past few days. It takes just 15 minutes to Harajuku. Like most passengers, I get out here to walk a part of the Old Tokaido that was never paved over by a modern road. Aside from a few short sections we passed on the bus a few minutes ago, it is the first time this has happened since leaving Nihonbashi. This is the original pavement. On flat sections, this pattern looks quite neat, but once the Tokaido starts climbing again, it becomes a different matter. This is not at all an easy climb, even in nice weather. Negotiating this road and its ishitadami in wet weather, wearing no more than a pair of straw sandals, would have been a slippery business. Today is a splendid day for walking, however, and the long ascent is paid off near the top of the first ridge, with an outstanding view of Odawara and the coast, more than 50 kilometers onward. From here there is a bit more climbing, but then the old road begins to descend towards Lake Aichi and the busy town of Hakone, where Route 1 joins in again. As the Tokaido's 10th station, Hakone always hosted a lot of travelers. They are still flocking here, causing considerable backups. But here too, part of the Old Tokaido survives. Paralleling Route 1 is a particularly nice stretch of it, flanked on both sides by magnificent cedars. These were planted nearly 400 years ago to protect travelers from snow in winter and too much sun in summer. Hundreds of them survive to this day, making this one of the most visited parts of the road. Yet in the old days, the beauty of this setting was probably lost on most travelers. For just beyond was the Hakone barrier, where all Tokaido travelers of old were rigorously inspected. Its purpose was twofold: keeping guns out of the capital and women within. Not all women, of course, but the female family members of daimyo, who were required to remain in Edo while their husbands were out of town. By keeping them hostage, the shogunate sought to discourage any rebellious plans. people caught breaking the rules face swift justice. Today, the once feared barrier is simply another one of Hakone's many sightseeing spots, an obligatory stop for tourists, who next proceed to the equally obligatory boat ride on the lake. I need to head to the pass instead, to try to find out where Hiroshige sketched his view of Hakone. Not surprisingly, he made one of the most spectacular prints of the entire series. He did so by compressing a wide panoramic view into its borders. Near the bottom, the Tokaido cuts through the scenery, with a long line of travelers descending towards the lake, not unlike a column of ants. Mount Fuji is shown as well, though this time it is dwarfed by its neighbors. Unfortunately, this particular view doesn't appear to exist. Mount Fuji is there somewhere, hidden behind the clouds. As it shows no intention of appearing anytime soon, I decide to head onward. It's about 15 kilometers to the post town of Mishima, and it is a gentle descent, which can either be done by car or bus on Route 1, or on foot, following the Old Tokaido. I need to get to Mishima before sunset, so I take the easy option. And while the Old Tokaido reportedly makes for a terrific hike, I don't mind the ride either. For much of the way, the scenery is terrific, with the Izu Peninsula stretching out in front, and the Pacific Ocean glistening in the late afternoon sun. As we approach Mishima, the road begins to level off. Here and there, old and new Tokaido overlap, as the pine trees alongside confirm. Then we continue along the path of the old road, into the center of a town I am very eager to see. Mishima is indeed the location of my first Tokaido print. Hiroshige must have sketched it right near here, though he shows the town early in the day. Emerging from the morning mist are a few travelers. The torii gate of Mishima Grand Shrine is shrouded in the fog, as is the Tokaido itself, and a few more travelers. Mishima Taisha, or Grand Shrine, is still the most important Shinto shrine in the region. Most buildings here were rebuilt in the 1860s, so Hiroshige saw something different, but it is close enough. In fact, it is probably the first time I feel I am looking at something he could have seen as well. He might even have seen some of the activity here. A wedding procession entering the temple grounds. A coming-of-age ceremony taking place elsewhere. It all looks very intriguing. I would like to know what is going on. Who are these people praying to? What do they believe? Morio Yatabe, one of the temple priests, is kind enough to answer some of my queries.
神道は日本に昔から伝わる、民族信仰ですとか自然信仰ですとかそういうものを基盤にした、信仰ですね。他の宗教と違って、経典ですとか教祖さんですとか、そういったものがないんですけれども、いわゆるそうしたアイドル偶像的な信仰とは違って、自然を特に、信仰する宗教ですね。
Like other beliefs or religions, Shinto's basic tenets sound simple in theory, but get more complicated in practice. But Shinto's essence remains unchanged. Reverence for nature, the importance of purity, the role of family, past and present, respect for tradition. Outside the shrine, these principles face pressure, but here they solidly hold ground. Not because the Japanese are so religious, but because Shinto is unique to them and to their country. So this sets them apart from others. Understanding that is essential to beginning to understand this fascinating country.